Welcome into Dynasty Trading Room. We are 2 weeks into the NFL season, and that means there's some players that got off to slow starts, and Dynasty managers are willing to sell them for a value. I'm going to name 5 of those players that you need to go out and buy right now before their value rebounds. First up on this list is the number 1 overall pick from last year's draft class, and that's Cam Ward of the Tennessee Titans. Now, you're going to notice a few rookies on this list because rookies are going to get off to slow starts as their first NFL snaps. That's bound to happen. And dynasty managers too often rely on these guys to be in their starting lineups week 1. Now, I get it with Cam Ward. His numbers do not look great through 2 weeks. We have 2 losses for the Titans, a low completion percentage, less than 300 yards passing, and only 1 touchdown across those 2 games. But the stats don't necessarily show the play that he's put on the field and the signs he's given that he can be a very good NFL quarterback. First of all, he's played 2 of the hardest defenses he's going to play all season in the Denver Broncos and the LA Rams. These are great defenses, veteran defenses that give a lot of different looks and have made it very hard on him. He's faced some of the most pressure in the NFL and taken the most sacks through 2 weeks. Some of that is rookie mistakes, but a lot of that's just great defenses schemed against him. Now, he's made a lot of great throws through 2 weeks. We've seen some real highlight plays, and that's what we're used to with Cam Ward from college. But there's been a lot of drops, a lot of misplays by the offense, a lot of fast pressures led up by the offensive line. He's actually second in percentage of his passes that were dropped by his receivers in all of the NFL. And I think that should be even higher. I think he should take that top spot. A lot of his passes were accurate, hit receivers in the hands, but they just didn't survive the catch through a DB contact or through the ground, and they weren't called a drop, but really it was the receiver's fault, not Ward's. Watching the week 2 tape, I only counted 2, maybe 3 passes that were inaccurate all game. Every other incompletion was he was pressured early and had to throw it away, or a receiver dropped the ball or pretty much dropped the ball on a pretty accurate pass that just wasn't deemed a drop. Ward has shown enough in flashes, in his poise in the pocket, that I think he's going to have a very good second half of the season and a very good NFL career as a starting quarterback. It's just going to take a few weeks for him to acclimate, for this offense to get used to him, and hopefully for these receivers to stop dropping the ball. Next up on the buy list is Chris Olave from the New Orleans Saints. This is someone who's rebounding after that concussion issue last year. I think his value is going to skyrocket over the second half of this season. We've already seen through a couple of weeks, he's second in the league in targets. He is the focal point of this offense. He's played a good number of snaps out of the slot, about 40% of his routes coming out of the slot. And that's something in a Kellen Moore offense that's going to lead to a lot of targets, a lot of receptions. That's the focal point of these Kellen Moore offenses. Okay, so Olave is second in the league in targets. Why is he included on this slow starts list? Well, he hasn't had any big plays. Those targets haven't necessarily turned into a real heavy amount of catches or a heavy number of yards and no touchdowns so far. He just hasn't had those big plays that are going to make those fantasy numbers pop. We know he can do it. We've seen it before. Chris Olave is one of the best in the league at tracking the ball down the field. Now, I'm not saying that he's going to be a wide receiver 1 this year. I'm just saying that his value is way too low. He's down as wide receiver 33. Yes, he's on an offense that isn't great, not great quarterback play, but he is tied to a promising offensive play caller. He is probably in line to have a huge quarterback upgrade next year, as the Saints are very likely to have one of the top picks in next year's draft. Compare that to someone like Garrett Wilson, who's the same age as him. They're both 25 years old, and Garrett Wilson has no promising offensive play caller. He has not as great of a path to a better quarterback play next year, and he's ranked as the wide receiver 15 on Keep Trade Cut. There's no reason for that large of a discrepancy between these 2 players with very similar skill levels. With Olave, you might have one more week to wait to buy him because the Seahawks are their next opponent, and that's a very promising defense over there in Seattle, but you can't wait too long. As soon as he has that one long touchdown, and Rattler has looked good enough to make those long touchdowns, then we're going to see this value skyrocket. People know what Olave can do, and as soon as they see it happen on the field again, his value is going to explode. Next up on my buy list is Matthew Golden. Now, this is one that we haven't seen the stats yet, and that's fairly normal for young rookie wide receivers. It's okay for him to have a few bad weeks where he's not super involved in the offense. He's only running about half the snaps out there, running routes on half the snaps. We've seen this before. We saw Justin Jefferson only get 6 targets across his first couple games in the NFL. He finished that rookie season with 1,400 yards. We saw Amon-Ra didn't have a single game over 10 fantasy points for the first 12 weeks of the season, and then finished the last 6 weeks with 10 plus points every single week, including 3 20 plus point performances. So early in the season, don't overreact on these rookies, especially in these dynasty leagues where we're looking at guys that could be the next class of elite receivers. They just need some time to get going. So why am I even mentioning these elite receivers when I'm talking about Matthew Golden? Well, he's a first-round talent, first of all. He has blazing speed. We saw that at the combine. We saw that in college. And now we're seeing it in the NFL. He has the highest separation score in week 2 across fantasy points data. That's better than everyone else. He is just generating insane separation. As a Commanders fan, I saw him just torch my defense multiple times. They just haven't connected on those passes yet. So we've seen the passes downfield. We've seen him get targeted on these deep throws, which we love for fantasy. Is the 4th highest average depth of target in the NFL so far this season. They are bombing the ball down the field to get it to him. Once those connect, then everything is going to break wide open for Matthew Golden. And now we have Jaden Reed down with a broken collarbone. There's a good chance that Golden's just going to be more involved in the regular part of the offense out of necessity. So if this all comes together and he is targeted more often, he's running more routes because Reed is out, and you get a few of these deep 40, 50-yard touchdowns to connect, which he's been open for so far, then all bets are off for Matthew Golden over the second half of this season and into next year. Moving over to tight end now with Trey McBride. Now, this may feel like a weird one because McBride hasn't been bad. So when I say buy low, it's more of a relative term with McBride. So far, he's averaging 6 receptions, just under 70 yards a game, but he hasn't had a touchdown. He's finished as tight end 13 on the first week, tight end 5 last week. Those are fine numbers, but they're not what you're expecting out of McBride, who was drafted as the 2nd overall tight end off the board in most leagues. Now, I've watched these Cardinals games. He looks great on the field, just like last year. Marvin Harrison is okay. I still have some belief in him, but he's not eating into Trey McBride's work. This is Trey McBride's passing offense. Just look at the target share. He's at a 31% target share. As a tight end, that is outrageous. This is still someone who should be valued as that number 2 tight end, if not in that conversation with Bowers as the number 1 tight end. And there's a lot of reason to think that the volume is going to go up too. Right now, there's been 2 games in a row that the Cardinals got up early, and this is a fine team, but I definitely don't expect them to be in that position early most of the season. They're not that great of a team. They've got a couple harder divisional games coming up against the 49ers and then the Seahawks, and the passing volume will need to increase in these kind of games. They won't be able to rely on the run to the extent they have so far in the season. Right now, they have the 7th lowest pass rate in the NFL, and that's just not something that's going to continue at that rate all year, and McBride will be the main beneficiary of a higher passing volume. And last on my buy list, I'm going to one more rookie, and that is RJ Harvey. Now, this is just a good time to buy rookies in Dynasty. Everyone's so excited during rookie season. What could happen? They could be the big breakout. People start putting these guys into their starting lineup in Dynasty leagues as contenders even. And RJ Harvey shouldn't have been that. Travion Henderson shouldn't have been that. Now, what makes me put Harvey on this list and not Henderson is that I think there's still some insulation of Henderson's value. People think, yes, it's going to happen eventually. People are getting scared with Harvey. People saw the opportunity and weren't necessarily buying into the skill. I think the opportunity is still there. Now, we've seen flashes. We've seen a huge breakoff run by Harvey. We've seen the juice. So that is not the worry here. The worry for people is the volume. I get it. He's only had 10 carries across his first 2 weeks. That's not great. Dobbins has been the clear lead runner out there. But that doesn't mean that's going to happen all season. Even if Dobbins stays healthy, that's a very huge if. Dobbins never stays healthy. So there's our first path. If Dobbins goes down, then we're looking at Harvey being a top running back option for you. And you're getting him right now for so much cheaper because he's had a couple slow weeks getting integrated into the offense. I'm looking at trades that are happening in real leagues right now, and it's Harvey for Pitts in a non-tight end premium league. Like, what is this? Harvey for Flowers, and they're getting a 2027 first in addition to Harvey for giving up Flowers. Harvey straight up for Jacoby Myers. These are trades that are just reactionary. We don't need to be selling Harvey for this cheap, and if managers in your league are selling him for this cheap, you need to go out and make offers and see what you can get him for right now. What makes me really excited about Harvey is the amount of routes he's running. And this is what we're looking for in a Sean Payton offense as a running back, is they check the ball down to running backs more than any other offense in the league. Sean Payton is known for this. Now, early in the season, it's 2 games. That's not a big enough sample size. We haven't seen it play out yet. But who is the running back that's running all the routes? It is Harvey. He has been out-carried by Dobbins 30-11, yet he's run more routes than Dobbins has so far this season. Of all the running backs in the NFL, he's actually 9th in route percentage out of the backfield. So this is a running back who is primed to catch those 5-6 passes that we see in Sean Payton offenses all of the time as soon as that part of the offense starts flowing, and it will start flowing. I think RJ Harvey is going to break out quickly, and the value will go up substantially from where we're seeing this depressed value right now. Those are my 5 players to buy low on early in the season. We're 2 weeks in, and people are overreacting. Take advantage right now. Go see if managers are panicking in your league, especially with these young rookies that they're disappointed in that they were hoping to rely on early in the season, and get the value that you just weren't getting around rookie draft time, around the preseason hype, and turn that value into positive things for your dynasty team. If you like this video, go ahead and subscribe, because we're going to keep bringing content like this all season long. We're going to bring you 2026 rookie content before any other channel, and we are looking out for your dynasty team.